will turn you into a monster instead of turning you into a man. You hang around a bunch of killers, son, and you're going to be the next one to get killed. And when they come for you, they're not just coming for you. They're coming for everybody who loves you. You not only jeopardize yourself, you jeopardize your entire family by your weak decisions. You didn't come into this world with that gang tatted on you. You came into this world with the last name that I gave you. Life isn't always about what you're willing to do. Sometimes it's about what you're willing to give up. Because at the end of the night, this journey called life, this race that you're running, only you can run, baby boy. You lose, I lose. And we ain't losing. Let's go get this shit right, son.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of A Father's Note. As always, we're so happy that you took the time out of your busy schedule to spend this evening with us. We're going to really have this conversation. I have a guest that I am just looking forward to hearing what he has to say as we speak to the matter of why fathers are important. Since I've been doing this platform, having this broadcast, and being able to, and being fortunate to have conversations with so many men, young and old. And when I look at a lot of the struggles that they have had in their lives, a lot of it goes back to or reflect back to their relationship with their father. Now, I know in the society in which that we live in today, many don't consider fathers to be that important. But yet, though, in the eyesight of God, fatherhood is important. There is, as if I can say, a method to the madness of why fathers exist. Fathers are essential to families in its entirety. Fathers are essential to communities. Fathers are essential to this nation. So for us to have the mindset, or anyone to think that you can make it through life without a father, your father or a father figure in your life, yeah, you will make it. But I'm willing to go on the record and say that the struggle will be greater for you than going through life without your father or a father figure than it would with you. For the very simple reason of this. I'm going to give you one reason why I say this. It's because, and I have this saying that I would tell my sons, you only know enough wisdom to get you through today. You don't have enough wisdom to get you through tomorrow. Why? You haven't lived tomorrow yet. Once you live tomorrow, then tomorrow you would have enough wisdom for today, because tomorrow will become today. But yet, when you have a father, I know for a fact that a father can speak wisdom into your life. A father can give you guidance. A father can give you direction. A father will bring reproof. It will bring correction if you allow it. But when I see young men who reject their father or the wisdom of their father, already know where they're destined to head. And when you study the book of Proverbs, Solomon has a lot to say about the relationship between fathers and children. So I don't want to take too much time, because I definitely want to give a lot of as much time tonight to my guest, that he can have something to say and speak to this matter. And just to give a little background, he is married. He's been married for 18 years to his beautiful wife named Vanessa. They have 6 children. He is an apostle of Faith Sonship Ministries in Anderson, South Carolina. His hobby is reading, music, and one of my favorite hobbies, spending time with his family. So without any further ado, I want to bring to the stage none other than Mr. Apostle T. Singleton. I would try your first name, bro, but I don't want to mess. When I looked at it, I said, okay, let me try it. Now, if I can I try it at least?
Yeah, go ahead, bro.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it's Tananavin. See, I done messed it up, man. Look at it.
It's Tananarive.
Tananari.
Tananarive.
Tananarive. Okay, so the R-I-V-E is their syllables. It's not one word. It's syllables.
Tananarive has a hyphen on top of the E.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Man, that's can you explain what type of name is that? Where's the name from, man?
Yes, sir. My mom, she's a teacher, so it's an island off the coast of Madagascar, and they call it they don't pronounce it the same way. They call it Tananarive or something like that. But it's an island off the coast of Madagascar. She named it after that. After that. Also in Canada, I want to say they have a river called Tanana River. So, but she got it from the name off the coast of Madagascar. And man, you ought to see back in the day, first grade, you write your name out. You know, everybody else done got their name written out. I'm still working, man. I'm putting in work.
Do I have enough A's? Do I have enough E's?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But I thank God for it. I thank God for my dad allowing her to call me that name and him putting the OK on it. Yes, sir. So,
is there a middle name?
Burke. Yes, sir. That is that's the name of my mother's father. Who had a great influence on my life. Him and my dad. Both of them have had great influences on my life. He was a man's man, working. Used to work in Detroit, sent money from Detroit down to Greenville, South Carolina, way back in the day. Would sleep to get extra shifts, and then just built his family down south, and then raised my mom and my uncles, and then my mom and my dad, and here I am. So yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Right. Did you have a nickname?
Everybody just called me T. My dad called me T because he don't got time for all that Tananarive, you know. So my dad said just T. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Right. Oh, hey, thank you so much, man. So, hey, listen, again, thank you for being a part. Let's get into this. Why fathers matter.
Yes,
Why
sir.
fathers matter. You saw the opening clip where I played where a father was speaking into, I'm going to say, not only the life, but the heart of his son. What's your thoughts on that, man?
I loved it. I love how he was speaking to his son. I love how authentic he was with his son. I like how he connected himself with his son. And I believe that means a lot to every young man, to have a man, especially a father, speak into his life and want to be a part of his life to direct him in the right way. And then put no sugar on it. He told him what was going to happen.
Right.
He's old enough to know what was going to happen. And it's good to see his son leaning on him and they're walking out together. I like that. Matter of fact, because you showed that, I want to see more of it. I want to see, I want to see it play out how it played out.
Yeah. I think the part what really got me was when he said, listen, I gave you my name. I gave you my name. In essence, he gave his son identity. So, and I think it's important that as fathers, that when we, especially if we put a stamp on that, then, okay, we're telling our son, hey, follow after me. So then I need to make sure that I'm doing those things that are necessary for you to follow me, that where I can give you a great example to you. Because I'm a strong believer that we are definitely creatures of learned behavior. So when we see young men or sons need identity. And I think that's one of the things that a lot of our young men that they lack, and that is the identity of who they really are. What do you say to that?
Oh yeah, I absolutely agree with you. The first thing that God gives us is identity. That's the first thing he gives us. And that's the first thing a father needs to do with his son is give him an identity. We could trace it back to Genesis when it comes down to the creation of man, the first man. I guess our great ancestor Adam. God said, "This is man.
Right.
And he gave him an identity. He told him what his name, told him his identity, gave him dominion, gave him borders, he gave him structure, gave him everything that he needed, even before Eve came on the scene. And I think a lot of times we miss it as men when we don't give our sons identity, because that's the first thing that we're supposed to have. A man in a house, and I'll say a godly man. When I say anytime I talk about a man, I'm talking about a godly man. I'm talking about a man of God, or a man who pursues God. Not a perfect man,
Right.
but a man that pursues God and wants to follow God. The first thing he does is give his son identity.
True.
He gives him his name. And what a man does in the house is that he models. That's what men do. We give our sons and even our daughters identity, and then we model what that identity is supposed to lead up to. And when we do that, then the son begins to see, this is how I'm supposed to be. This is how I'm supposed to act. I have a grandbaby right now at the house. His dad will go out and come back and take his work boots off. My grandson, when his dad leaves out, he will go in and put his two little feet inside of his big dad's boots and begin to walk and mimic how his dad responds. And as a matter of fact, big bro, when I go out and do different things, he'll watch me and then he'll mimic me. And that's why fathers are so influential, because sons and daughters need somebody to model their life after. And when we give them identity, we tell them, this is who you are, and I'm going to show you how to walk it out. So I agree with you.
Man, that's powerful, man. Model. So it's interesting then when we see the behavior of a lot of our young men today. I guess they're behaving that way because of what has been modeled in front of them.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of times when there's no model in the house, then we begin to pick and choose what we want to model ourselves after.
Or whatever greatest influence. Or whatever is the greatest influence. I'm sorry.
Whatever's the greatest influence is. And then we'll see a lot of times when there's no man in the house, the mannerisms and the responses a lot of times would be more like grandma or like mom. And a lot of times in a world that's filled with men, a lot of times it becomes difficult for especially a young son to grow without a masculine figure in the house saying, no, this is how you live, this is how you look, this is how you act, this is how you interact with other men. Case in point, yesterday we had some guys cut some trees at the house because we had trees everywhere. We had to get rid of the trees. I had three of my grandchildren pass through. 2 girls, 1 boy, grown men out there talking. Girls going out. I told them, girls, get back in. They went back in. Grandson about to come out. I told him, get back over here. And then the girls didn't know. They was kind of upset with what was going on. And so after I interacted with the men and I had my grandson with me, I went back in the house. I said, listen, it's not that they call me Big Papa. I said, Big Papa's not upset at you or anything, but Big Papa wants you to know when you see a lot of grown men together, a lot of times just because I'm talking with them, that doesn't mean that I know everything about them. And sometimes there are men that's around your Big Papa that I don't know and that may like little girls. I said a lot of times, I tell you these things to protect you. When I can trust them, when I see them, then you can be around them. But until then, get back in the house. I do everything for your protection. My grandson said, you stand here with me, you watch them and you interact with them and you see how I interact with them. This is what you're going to grow up to be.
Correct.
A protector, someone who would analyze, somebody who would know what's going on so you can be an asset, a protector, and somebody who would encourage your cousins on, and how to live. And I try to model that every day. Their dad tries to model that every day so they grow up knowing how to live in a man's world. Yeah.
You have said something Um, man, you said something that was so true because you talk about mannerism. I'm gonna see if I can find this video. I wasn't gonna play this video, but since you said it,
Play it, big bro.
I'm gonna play this video. I'm gonna see if I can. I know I have it here.
Okay.
Oh God, let me see here. Is this it? Did I put it here? Come on. No, that's not it. Just give me a second here.
Oh yeah.
Just give me a second, man. Because maybe I loaded it up, maybe I did not. But I just want to, let me see here. Let's see here. Man, when I saw this, man, when you said what you said, I was like, wow, that is exactly the video that I wasn't going to show. Man. Oh, God, man. Let me see here. Let's see. God, I don't want to take too much time, man.
Oh man, take all the time. Take all the time. We need it. I think I need to see it. Yes, sir.
Man, let's see here. I'm trying to find out where I stuck it at. I thought I had put it on the desktop here, man. Okay, that's not it. God, I guess I don't have it on here. It should be here though. Let's see here. Okay, that ain't it. Oh God. All right, I done lost it now, man. I don't know where it's at.
Oh man.
And yeah, I'm not seeing it here. I thought I had uploaded it, but I guess I didn't.
Okay. Yeah.
One more spot here. Let me see here. Let me see it because, man, when I saw this, man, I'm like, wow. Wow. Oh God, where you at? Where you at? Where you at? Where you at? Okay. Nope. I don't have it. I don't have it.
Oh man.
And I wish I got it, but it's not here as I thought it would be.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me wait a minute. Let me look at one more spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, one more spot. Let's see here. Let's see here. Man, I gotta show this here. Come on. Where you at? Where you at? Where you at? Where you at? Okay. No, I have it here. Okay. No, I guess I don't. Man.
Can you describe it so?
Well, it was this lady, she said that I don't need, she said my sons don't need a father, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so she starts dancing. And she have 3 of her sons behind her, twitching their bottom and everything, just like their mother is doing. And I'm like, wow. Wow. And we think that this is okay. And it's not. It's not. It's not. Okay, well, I'm not having any luck finding it though. Yeah, but it's important that they need to see masculinity. A young man need to see masculinity. And I think that they also that they do have a yearning for it. But if they always find themselves around women all the time, I think that masculinity side of them, or that part that they need in order to function. The reason that I say that masculinity is important to a man, because he needs that to be able to function in a chaotic world as we know it today. Because if not, if he doesn't have the masculinity side of it, because most of, with today, everybody want to produce masculinity as it's a negative thing. But no, it's to keep that man needs that so that he doesn't be flaking out or take life emotionally, going through life with emotions, man, because that does him more harm than it does him any good.
Yes. Yeah. The worst thing you can have is out of control, man.
Oh, wow.
And that's one thing that you can definitely, that's a detriment. And you see it around. when it comes down to gangs violence, domestic violence, even in our prisons, even in our schools. You got a lot of emotionally unstable young men. And when that happens, violence happens. Violence occurs. Men, we know how to interact with each other and know how to speak with each other, because no matter how godly you are, when you interact with men, you know that every interaction could end up in violence.
Wow, that's good.
That's just the truth. I mean, people just don't want to say it shouldn't be that way. No, think about it. Anytime you interact with a man, your brothers, or any interaction with somebody who's not, you need to watch your tone. You need to watch how you interact with people. You need to know how to feel and walk in a room, because there are different people with different agendas. When you grow up around men, you sense that. Now, you may not have the sense of women, because women does have a sense and of different things. But when it comes down to men, the first thing men look for is danger. Is there any type of danger in the room? Is there any type of danger to my family? Is there any type of danger to anybody that I care about? That's what we look for from the young man that's been told to lock the doors. My grandson today, when he came in, I said, make sure you lock the doors in the house. Make sure every door is secure. Right. Not because we're so afraid that somebody's going to do something, but I'm setting him up to be a protector for somebody who watches, somebody who learns, because that's what God is for us. He's our protector. He teaches us how to protect. He teaches us how to interact. And this is when a man is raised up, shaking, dancing like that, you're setting him up for a hard time. You're really setting him up for failure, because he's interacting with people, with men who identify that as weakness. And basically, if you don't know how to communicate as a man, because a man knows how to communicate, but when a man communicates, he communicates with logic. He doesn't communicate with his emotions. He puts his emotions down and he interacts because he knows what it could escalate to. He knows that if he gets mad and quits his job, he has responsibility at home. I got to provide for my family. I need to think my way through this. I need to ask God how to deal with this situation. But just because somebody said something out of pocket, I just can't cuss them out and have a fit and leave.
Right.
I'm responsible. Even if you don't have children, even if you don't have a wife, still there is a way of carrying yourself as a man that we miss. And I'm gonna say one more thing. Because we speak so emotionally, and because there is no father, we pick and choose traits that we think that are fatherly, like strength. We want to be strong as a man, but we think being strong as a man now is knowing how to shoot a gun. That's not strength. That's weakness. We want to be strong, but we don't know how to be strong. And the only way I can think about being strong is being able to shoot a gun. That's why you have emotionally unstable men who want to be men but don't know how. And so they use violence. Then if they don't have a man to raise them up, well, they look at somebody, a dope boy on the street, somebody do that emulate, and then next minute, they got tattoos everywhere. They're selling dope, they're using drugs, they're doing different things. They're emotional, they beat their girlfriends or beat their wives because they have no male model. When a man has a male model in front of him, he knows how to prioritize. Well, he has direction. Let me, I'm gonna shut up after this, but Psalms 127 talks about a man whose children are like arrows in a quiver.
Correct.
It said the man is blessed to have a lot of, well, what you do with the arrow? You take the arrow out, put it on the bow, and you control the arrow. You harness the arrow. And you pull back on the arrow and you point it in the direction that you needed to go.
Wow. That's powerful.
When a man sees his children, a man studies his child, watches his child. A godly father watches his child and pulls them and disciplines them. I'm saying on the list, if he got to whoop him, he got to whoop him. and lead, and not just out of violence, not just out of frustration, but he's leading them and guiding them in the way they need to go. And so when a man sees that, then he points out then he lets them go, and they go the direction they need to go.
Right.
And they'll be successful because they allow their father to harness them. And we need men in the community to harness young men. There's nothing better. I'm gonna shut up, but you got me flowing a bit.
You ain't got to shut up, bro. Just keep talking, man. Keep talking. You're speaking good, man.
It's nothing better like an old football coach. You know, a good one, not a bad one that, you know, but a good one who invests in the child, disciplines the child. The child goes through physical adversity. The child has to be disciplined, all these different things. But when they grow up, they understood why they're disciplined the way they are. And most of the time they function as productive citizens. They become husbands that work on a job, have children of their own, and live a productive life. A lot of times when back in the day when we was playing football, if you had a dude that is very talented, he was the most talented guy, but he couldn't take coaching. He couldn't take nobody telling him what to do. And because he couldn't take anybody telling him what to do, even though he's the most talented, he quits. 9 times out of 10, a few years later, he's locked up. Why? He was talented than everybody, more than anybody. Bigger, stronger, faster, smarter. But he couldn't take discipline. A good man knows how to take discipline. And that's what we need. We need discipline in our community. We need discipline in our household. And we need for our women in our community to say, hey, that's what a real man is. And my wife tells me this all the time. Now, you tell me this. I don't have to like it. I'm going to fall in line. Because I know what you do. Because men, I say this, I'm going to shut up. Men are visionaries. When a man is established his household, a man has a vision of what he wants his household to be. A man has a vision of what he wants his children to be. A man is not a man just because he got a sack. A man is because he has vision, and he knows how to follow that vision and discipline his family to that vision so his family can be great and so he can be great, and that everybody in this community can be productive. I'm sorry I got the rambling, man, but all that stuff. When you said that, it kind of tripped me.
Let it flow, man. Let it flow. Let it flow. You know, you talk about strength. You talk about emotion. You talk about strength pretty much in the same light. And Proverbs 25:28 came to me. It says that a man without self-control is like a city broken into and left without walls. But there's also another Proverbs that says a man who controls his emotions can take a city. So you gotta have. I love how you frame that word about strength, man. It's being able to be in control of yourself. And you're right. The reason that a lot of young men they resort to guns and and violence because they don't have any self-control about themselves. They don't know how to control their emotions. And emotions is a dangerous thing, and it causes men to make bad decisions that not only affect them but affect their family as well. Man, that was good, man. I got a question I want to ask you. What would you say to a young man who is not interested in knowing his father?
Oof.
Because I run into that a lot. What do you say to a young man? Man, I know who he is, but I don't want to know him. I don't have nothing to do with him, man. He ain't no good. His net, what do you say to someone like that?
I tell him, really, you're missing a big piece about knowing about yourself. If you don't know your father, a lot of times you don't know too much about yourself, because when you're born, I know, the seed of the father goes into the mother. It's not just liquids and cells. It's something else that happens when I can't describe it. But something else happens when a man puts seed into a woman and the woman conceives. A lot of his spirit, a lot of his mannerism, a lot of different things happen inside of that child because of the father. And there's been times that I know guys that haven't even seen or known their father, haven't had any contact with their father, but they behave just like their father.
Like the father.
Because
right.
It's something, it passes on from one to another. And if you don't want to know about your father, then you really don't want to know about yourself. My son, when he was about to get married, he said, Dad, let me sit down with you. I want to know everything about the family. I want to know everything about you. I want to know everything about the family, about granddad. I want you to know about everything you know about great granddad, because all this stuff is being passed down. And I told him, all right, son, I began to tell him my strengths. I began to tell him my weaknesses. And when I was beginning to share, he was like, that's the same thing, Dad. You know, long patience. But son, when I'm there, when I'm on 10, then I have problems. I easily cut people off. I easily don't want to talk. I easily don't want to interact. If I feel back in the day, I told him if I feel out of control, then I want to control everything physically. I want to get a little bit violent.
Wow.
All these different things. I begin to tell him, because if you have an argument with your wife or with your girlfriend, you feel out of control, because 9 times out of 10, she's gonna out talk you. She's gonna cut you up.
Every
She's
time.
gonna cut you up.
Every time.
And then you want to control things, but you want to hold on. So listen, I'm trying to talk. Listen, you can't do that. Men don't do that, because you're trying to step into you're crossing the line, because now you want to get violent to a person you're supposed to be protecting. And even though you just want them to understand, you can't make them understand like that by controlling them, by dominating them, by physically holding them, or by striking them. That's what, and a lot of these men that's emotionally out of control, that's what they do, because that's the only thing they know how to do, because they don't know how to control their emotions. And a lot of families go through those domestic violences, those cases. Now she don't trust him, and now the enemy comes in. A lot of things happen because of we're out of control. And that's why men are so important, because if you have a bunch of young men come to you and say, man, I just don't know what to do. Well, that's when the modeling comes in. The modeling just don't come in. The modeling just don't come in for how I look, how I look good, but it's also how I look bad. Where were my mistakes? Where was my flaws?
Wow.
That's what the guy in the video you were saying. Man, I know what's going to happen with this. There's going to either be death or jail, something like that. We know. And when we can model these things, our mistakes and flaws, and begin to tell them to our sons, or just a little kid around the block, that just looking for a father figure, man, it does so much for them. It really changes their life. And it does something for us. Right. As older heads, it does something for us when we can say, hey, my mistakes and flaws, there may have been mistakes and flaws for me, but it's a learning instrument for him. And it's going to make him a better man. Yes, sir.
You took my mind back to my book. That's why I wrote my book, Learning to
Yes, sir.
Again. And it's interesting that my youngest son, he read it, and I had asked him, I'm like, what do you think? He said, Dad, everything makes sense now. He said, I understand why, you went through a lot of things you say, and I understand why you say what you say to me about decisions and things and whatever that I need in my life. Not at all. It's clear now. And he has expressed how much it has really helped him to really focus on himself and what he needs to do for himself. And I'm really proud of him.
Yeah.
He took a big step, a big decision. As I stated to him at the time, I'm like, that's not the decision that was made, but you made it. So you're gonna have to learn how to live with it. And he has done exceptionally well. And now that where in the past he would have just made a decision and going down the road with it. Now he'll call me, hey Pops, I need some wisdom, and that's what it's all about. So that's why I really just thank God for that. So but you're saying that you would tell a young man that if you don't get to know your father, then you don't get to know yourself. You won't even know anything that there is about yourself then, basically.
Exactly, because if you don't know, because a lot of times we were born with things we didn't ask for. Think about it. We're born, we didn't know that when you go to a place and you line up and your father say, don't drink, don't go to a party that with drugs and nothing like that, and then we go anyway, and we don't listen. And then time you drink one time, that glow, it hits you. And it's 5 of y'all. 4 of y'all good. But that one hooked because it got things inside of him, addiction,
Wow.
and different things that's in him that he didn't know that he had. And his father's telling him, don't do those things because because through our bloodline, there's addiction, there's violence, there's womanizing, all that kind of stuff. So don't even introduce yourself to that. Do yourself a favor, just listen to me. But they don't. And so when you fail to listen or fail to want to know the weaknesses of your father, the struggles of your father, the misinformation of your father, the mischaracterization of your father, then you miss out a big piece of your life, of the strongholds, the traps, the things that can happen to you by not knowing your lineage, by not knowing your father.
So you would tell them that, hey,
Oh
look,
yeah,
you need to know your father, good, bad, or indifferent. Even
good,
if
bad,
you
indifferent.
know about him, you need to know that about him, so you would know what to avoid for yourself. Because there's a story or lesson behind what he has been through or what he has become. If you just open up yourself open yourself up to receive what he has said, what he has to say to you, because it might save you some trouble down the line or down the road.
Absolutely. Don't be so emotional that you can't listen.
Ooh, you keep going back to this emotional thing, man.
Yeah.
Wow. The next question. Do you believe God provides a father figure or a mentor for every young man whose father is absent from his life?
Absolutely. The Bible says, when my mother and father forsake me, that doesn't mean that they intentionally forsaken us. It may have been, they may have passed away. Maybe they're incarcerated, something like that. They can't get a hold to you, or maybe they just absolutely forsaken you. But when my mother and my father forsakes me, then the Lord will lift me up. He will provide somebody. He always will provide somebody. You just got to be willing to listen. You just got to be willing to see the person that God is putting in your life. And that's why it's important to have people or fathers, even churches, because that's where we congregate. That's where we meet up, that you can identify people that can be father figures in your life. He always provides, if we're willing to listen and see.
Well, they make two of us. I believe that too. I believe that as well. Next question I want to ask you. I believe that the absence of a father would reflect or show up later in an adult male's life. Do you agree with that? Later in life?
Absolutely. Because you don't know how to interact. You don't know how to socialize. There's so many different things that I've learned through having a father in my life that a lot of people struggle with, that don't have a father in their life. A lot of times, I don't mean to keep rambling on, but man, the benefit of just having a father, and my father never told me that he loved me. Never told me that he loved me. But I know that he did. But I was reading the Bible. Jesus really never said he loved us. He just showed us.
Wow.
And
That's
a lot of
man.
And so when we have that type of when we have somebody, but my dad modeled it. He communicated with me, told me right from wrong, showed me how to be a man through his actions, not through his words. And as I'm coming up, I'm learning, well, what is love? And I'm learning, and I'm saying my dad loves me because he showed me everything it takes to be a man. And a lot of times we miss it, man. A lot of times we miss it. I'm sorry, I keep rambling on. You ask me a question and I go all around Bob Jones University.
Don't put a little push in your heart, man. Please share it.
Yeah.
It's interesting that you say your father never told you that he loved you.
Mm-hmm.
And it is, I spent the majority of my life wanting my father to tell that to me, to say that to me. And the other side to it too, man, when you talk about identity, so let me just make you laugh a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I did everything I could not to be like my father. Right? I'm telling you, not to be. I did not want to have anything have anything related to my father. Nothing. But then
Man.
if you talk with my mother today, she would tell you. She said, he is just like his daddy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's all right, man.
Just like his daddy. Yeah,
Man.
let me acknowledge it real quick. A lot of those who are commenting, thank you so much for your comments. Miss Dominique says here, let me see what my curse is. She says that when you pursue God, God will provide the mentor you need to become the man of God you are to become. And I agree with that. I agree with that wholeheartedly. Oh man, and the weakness of the father are accelerated in the son. Man, that's powerful.
That's true.
That is powerful. Man.
That is so true.
That is powerful, bro. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you. Okay, so got another question. What is the number one mistake most single mothers make when it comes to raising their son or sons? What would you say is the number one mistake they make?
I'm trying to think of experience. Really, not introducing, not allowing the father to be a part of the child's life. Now, I can only say from the experience that I've seen, and I have had interactions with, but a lot of times single women, because they go through so much adversity and they have to fight. Because I want to acknowledge that single women, they fight and they scratch and they claw to support and do the things that both mother and father would quote unquote would have to do. But I think it's very important that some type of positive male figure be in your child's life. If you got to search one out. If you got to pray and ask God, I got this young man. I like how you said, big bro, I don't have a boy. I got this young man that I'm raising, and the characteristics of his father are in him. And me and his father are not together by some means. I need your help. I think it's imperative. I think it's so important to introduce a young man to a man that of character, that you trust, that's solid, and introduce him into life. I think that's the number one pitfall that single mothers have, because they want to say, I can do it. What you trying to prove? What you trying to prove? We all need to depend on God. The man needs to depend on God. The woman needs to depend on God. Humble yourself and say, God, I need a man in this. I don't need to sleep with the man. I ain't trying to marry the man. I just need a man in my child's life that can show him discipline, boundaries, and model what a man should be. Because if I don't do it, then my son is going to look on the internet. He's going to look through songs. He's going to look through rappers with a dress, with tattoos, and he's going to say, that's cool. That's what I want to be, because it has no modeling before him of what a man's supposed to be. So he's going to pick and choose if I don't designate and put my approval on, this is what a man is. This is what a man looks like. This is what a man talks like. This is what a man interacts like. He's not perfect, but that's a good man that you need to model yourself after, or have interactions with, or have discussions with, that will help you grow up to be the man that God wants you to be. And I think that's the number one pitfall. Without a doubt, the number one pitfall.
Gilmore says that they make their son the husband.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Let's not go down this road. I'm telling you, I peep it, man. You know, what you want to control. You want to be your son, husband, or husband, son, or whatever. That's a detriment to him, because he's not growing up to be a solid man, because he's going to have a hard time telling you no. You know, you're abusing the honor and the privilege that God has given you in raising up a man. And because you don't know what a man is, you'll start to abuse what a man is. You want to make him your husband, son. That's not what it's supposed to be.
Wow.
You know, what Miles Monroe says, if you don't know the purpose of a thing, you're going to abuse it. And we abuse our men. I've seen videos that Mom pops off, dude pops off back at her. Mom said to the young man, go get the ratchet, whatever. And then next minute, your son is shooting the dude. Now the son's going to prison forever. The dude is dead, and you sitting here,
right. Right.
And
right.
those are the mistakes that women and sometimes men make when they try to make these husbands, sons, and it's just a travesty. And it's because nobody knows the purpose of a man. If we can just go into churches that teach kingdom, or go in, or talk to people that understand kingdom and understand purpose, you don't know what you got there. But when you find out what you have, he'll be a blessing to you all the days of your life. But you can't control him. You can only guide him and lead him to a man that will help him to grow up the way he's supposed to be. And I'm sorry if I keep getting worried. My wife said I talk too much.
No, you're fine.
Yeah.
You're fine.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put this one more comment. My wife says that they cuddling him too much. Yeah, I agree. Let me play this video here.
All right.
Let me play this video here.
That will sacrifice, and it's mothers out there that will sacrifice and give their kids everything but a father. They will sacrifice and make sure their kids have everything they need in life except a man. A lot of these men aren't deadbeat dads. They're just defeated fathers. And it's a damn shame that some of these men who work hard to establish a presence and try to build a bond with their children have to separate themselves from their seed so they won't be used as pawns against it. Some of y'all women care more about how y'all feel versus the development of your child. There's a lot of hidden agendas. There's a lot of women walking around here with hate, doing shit out of spite.
All right, I apologize for that. I thought it was a big version, man.
Yeah,
but I think you got the point, what he's saying. And I absolutely agree with him. I absolutely agree with him 100%. Yeah. But he's telling the truth. I apologize to my viewers. I always try to keep it clean, but I thought it was clean and I see it wasn't. But nevertheless, I got a question here. One of the viewers are asking a question. And the question is, what happens when the man is malfunctioning and dangerous and even has narcissistic tendencies?
Oh, you asking me that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. He got to be dealt with. And what I mean by dealt with, I mean by you need to identify what's going on, identify those tendencies. And first of all, if you can, talk to him about it. What can be done? What can be said? Sometimes that man needs a mentor. Sometimes that man needs a follow the road. I don't care if he's 50. Sometimes that man needs a mentor in his life. And it's not to a woman or anything to just come and confirm, say, give him the business, but come to a way that the Bible says. Come with love, say, listen, these are some things going on. Are you willing to talk to somebody? Maybe you need a mentor or something like that, or not a mentor. I wouldn't say that to a man, but just somebody you can talk to. Because sometimes these children grow up without a man, abused, their perspective is twisted. And if the man is dangerous, if he beating on you, he got to go. You got to get out the house. I'm telling you straight, point blank. Get out the house, separate until something can be done. I would never tell a woman to stay in the house with a man that's malfunctioning to the degree that he's abusive. And I don't mean by y'all argue sometime. And I don't mean by, he's not doing what you ask him to do every time. But a man that's dangerous and violent, yeah, you got to go, because that man is capable of doing anything and everything. That's what I would say. That's what I would say to that, and then see if he's willing to communicate, willing to talk to somebody, to his hurt, to his pain, to his fault, to his bad perspective, then see if somebody will come and befriend him and work with him, be a friend to him.
You said something there. I believe that I tell my daughters this. I say this to my daughters, and I've said this several times on this broadcast, that if you are a young lady or a woman or adult woman, and you are single and you're interested in a man, um, I cannot stress it enough that you should have that man vetted by another man in whom you trust.
Yeah.
Because that man will find out some characteristics about whether or not the characteristics that he possess, whether or not they would be beneficial to you in your life and as well as your children. So you will want to get him vetted by another man. What do you say to that?
Absolutely. Needs to be vetted by another man. It's easy to get into. It's hard to get out of.
Hard to get out.
And that's once again the influence and the positive results of having a father or male figure in your life, even when it comes down to choosing to make. Because back in the day, you know, your prospective suitor had to come meet pops. If you had pops, and pops gonna vet it.
Yes.
And if you got some brothers, your brothers and your pop gonna vet it.
Yep.
But if you don't have that, then it's good to vet a dude, you know, because dude got game, man. Dudes know how to talk. They ain't stupid. They slick. They know what they want. They know how to play the game, and they know how to ride it out until they got you. And then you get caught up in the emotion. He all this, he all that.
Yeah.
And next minute, this joker act a monkey. I'm sorry, you know, started acting a monkey. And then next minute, where did all this come from? It was there the whole time. But you got to have somebody, like you said, to vet him.
Get him out.
And to see what's really going on.
Yep.
And once you find out what's going on, you have to have the strength to say, nah, I don't want to be with you. But now that's the problem when it comes down to women sometimes. No, he look good. He look good.
I love him. He do this for me. He do that for me. Okay, yeah. Like you say, he running that game down on you.
Yeah. And in between jobs, he been in between jobs the whole time that you've been with him, and the only money he can scratch up is money to buy some Newports. Man, but you love him. You want it. You know, that's a lot of times, you know, we have to look at our sisters and I must say, you know, you got a role to play in this too now.
Right.
You knew what he was.
Right.
You knew what he was.
Right.
You know, because now a dude that may have a little pot belly, you know, dude that works hard 9 to 5, you know, a dude that may not be looking like everybody else wanting to look.
Right.
He's a solid dude. He'll protect you. He'll give you the world. He'll worship the ground that you walk on. You don't want him.
Come on.
You don't want him. But you want Playboy. You know what I'm saying? And you know, a dude like that, you know he already got some with him.
Yeah.
You know he already got some lady that he dealing with, but now you think you can change him. He just need a little, man, he don't need it. You need it.
Hey, that right there is the biggest mistake they made. They get with a man, well, I can change him. No, you
can't change him, man. You can't change. You can't change. Only God can change the heart of a man.
That's it. That's it. Let me ask you one more question, man, and we're gonna get out of here.
Yeah.
This is what I believe. I believe that forgiveness is the cure for severed father-son relationships. What are your thoughts about that?
Let's say that one more time. Forgiveness.
I believe that forgiveness is the cure for severed father-son relationships.
Yeah. I think that's it is key, and we could and now that's a great role that mothers could play in. I truly believe that if the mothers can forgive the fathers or the guy and encourage the child to say, listen, your father may not be perfect, but he's your father. I've forgiven him. Now, once again, that's modeling.
Wow.
Modeling. I've forgiven him. And I think you should forgive him too, because there's a lot about him that's in you. And you're a good son. And you can learn so much more if you could just forgive him. And if you don't want to talk right now, fine. But forgive him, because when you do, you set yourself free. Because I'm telling you, you know this better than I do. When forgiveness is in play, you release yourself.
That's right.
As well as the person that you forgive. Right. So yeah, absolutely, man.
I had to learn that. It's interesting you say that, because my oldest son, you know, his mother and I, she has never, as a matter of fact, you know, let him tell it. She has never said anything negative to him about me, but she has always stress the need of forgiveness. She have always demonstrated that forgiveness for what we went through. And she's always encouraged not only myself, but also my son, that we get together and we have that relationship that was essential. And I can tell you right now today, man, she has transitioned, but I am so grateful to the Spirit of God that she allowed to show in her, because my oldest son and I, man, we have such a solid relationship right now today.
Yeah, man, that's it, man. And that's a key role I believe that women can play. That's such vital to be that person that can say, son, I may not can model a lot of things as far as manliness, but what I can model is forgiveness. And because you're here, there's something about that man that's good, or you wouldn't be here.
Right.
Something in him is good.
Right. That's good.
And because of that, we united and made, and you came out forgiving, learn from him, it'll better your life. And man, that's all guys want. That's all sons want, is just a father. That's all we want as men.
Yep.
Just for a father to say, hey, son, you did good. I love you. I don't need a whole bunch of hugs. For a man to come to me that's older than me, that I look at a father figure and look at me and say, son, you did good. It means the world.
Yeah, that's good.
All we want to hear. That's all we want to hear.
Man, you dropped a lot of good nuggets tonight, man.
Man, I was rambling around, man. I'm sorry, bro. I like to get with you though, man. Because you cool the fan, man. And when you start talking, man, I got to ramble. I don't talk much to people, but people that I like, I start babbling, man. So I hope people got something out of it. And I know my sons, they're gonna listen. My grandchildren already read it. I told them, I said when Big Papa's finished, hey, come on. They hit one of my sons right here. I'm gonna get him in. Hey,
yeah, come on.
That's Mr. Lionel. But yeah. So here's one of my sons here.
What's going on?
It's all good, man. It's all good. What's up, man?
Hey, can't call it. I might spoil it.
You sound like daddy. You sound like daddy. Hey, man, good to see you.
Yes, sir. You have a good one.
Hey, you too, Chief.
It's nice to meet you.
Likewise. Yeah,
man. But yeah, man. So I'm just thankful for the opportunity, man, to chop it up with you, man, and everybody that was listening, and those who are going to listen in the future. Like I said, my grandson, he's ready to listen to me after once it's posted.
Right.
And man, we just thank the world of you, man. Anytime that you need me, brother, do anything, man, I'm with it, man, because I love this.
We're gonna hook up again. We're gonna hook up again, definitely.
Yes,
and I just want to give a shout out to all of my viewers, those of you who have left your comment. Thank you so much. Thank you for your questions and everything, your support. And hey, listen, how about reshare this broadcast with a friend or someone else who you know that can benefit from a lot of the conversations and a lot of the insight that my guests have shared. Hey, again, it's time for us to get out of here. But again, hey, Apostle, thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
All of you. And we'll see you all, I want to say the same, next week. God bless.
God bless.